Hey, Coach.
Hey,
Wondering
Jenna.
if you have any updates on Cam Brate.
He has a sprained neck. He has all his extremities moving well, and he's resting. So that's been the extent of it. Everything else came out negative.
Neurologically, were there any issues with this?
No,
Sounds like it turned out pretty well for him.
it turned out great for him.
Was he to have him on the flight back? I'm sure helped just to have him there in terms of eliminating a lot of the doubt or fear of an injury like that.
It was good to see him. It was good for the guys to see him. You know, it relieved a lot of people's mind.
Todd, I know you guys want to score more points on offense, but through the first 6 games, have you been pleased, satisfied, disappointed with the play calling you're getting on the offensive side of the ball from Byron Leftwich?
I'm dissatisfied with a lot of things. You know, winning is number one. It's not about the play calling. It's all inclusive. You know, players have to execute what the coaches call, and coaches have to make sure that the players are in the right position to call them. So we don't throw blame anywhere. It's all inclusive. It's offense, defense, and special teams when we have a bad game. So it's not even about play calling. It's just about team.
Coach, what can you do about the offensive line? Are you considering any changes up there? I mean, clearly when you talk about short yardage, you're not moving people. When you talk about, Brady's, I don't know, lack of throwing the ball down the field, much whatever it is, protection. I mean, is there any consideration to whether it's Luke Gedeke or changing anybody in there?
Well, we got the guys we got, and we're happy with them. We just have to be better play-wise. You know, we got to execute better. It's always a guy here and a guy there, whether it's Luke or somebody else on the offensive line or a ball outside. We miss a block here and there, or somebody swims us and gets by, and it makes it look worse than it is. And it's a different guy every play. You know, we got to be more detailed as coaches. We got to be better execution-wise as players. It's a group effort. We got to change some things from a offensive scheme standpoint. We'll do that. If we have to do something from a player standpoint, we'll take a look at that as well. So we're trying to find the best solution, how we can get better in those areas.
In terms of Luke, he's faced a gauntlet of Pro Bowl defensive tackles now 4 weeks in a row, right? But at least in my estimation, his play is not getting better, might be getting worse. Is there any consideration to Nick Leverett, Brandon Walton, putting somebody in there that can maybe provide a little bit of a spark at that position and maybe allow him to take a breather and maybe see things from the sidelines?
Well, we look at that every week with everybody, not just Luke. I think he's not going to face any less competition. They're going to be Pro Bowlers every week. So it's not just going to be 4 weeks. It's going to be 16 weeks. And he understands that. The things he's getting better at, we see the improvement. Can he get a lot better? Yes, he can get a lot better. But we're happy with the things that he's doing. He's given up a few plays here and there, but I wouldn't single him out to be replaced, so to speak. There are other guys that we know can play and do certain things, and we look at that every week where we find people to put in the game plan on all sides of the ball. So we'll try to keep looking at that, and we'll try to monitor that, and we'll plug in where needed, but we got to help them a little bit too.
After watching the tape, could you pinpoint what went wrong on those 4 third and 11-plus plays that were given up?
Yeah, I can. It was a different guy each play. It was a different guy each play. That's the best I can tell you.
Does it make it better or worse?
Makes it worse because we didn't stop them, period. So nothing makes it better when they get them all.
You had 2 safeties down with Logan being out, with Mike being out, and had Dee Delaney kind of step in. How did he handle that? And how much would you let the shorthandedness of your secondary play a role in how they played and what they did yesterday?
We'll try to tweak it here and there. I thought he played fine. You know, some small things and minor details of plays that he came across for the first time that he needed to see. But from a competition standpoint, he played fine. From a mental standpoint, he was into the game. He had a tackle for loss. He had a few tackles here and there. Some things he got to learn. But our secondary, depending on health and who we play, will probably look different each week, depending on how we use guys, depending on if they fit what we're doing.
Of the 3 DBs you didn't have, of Logan and Mike and Sean, do you know which of those 3, if any, are in play to return for Carolina?
Not at this time, I don't.
Coach, it seems like, so much of the NFL is situational football, right? Short yardage, third down, red zone. These are all the issues you're struggling with right now. So how do you get better at situational football when there seems to be so many of them that's getting you, causing trouble?
I think we take them one at a time. Rick, it's an excellent question, but red zone, we get down there, and we had the ball down there several times, and either we get a false start or we get a penalty that pushes us back, or we miss a route here and there, or we miss a block here and there. It's like I said, it's a different guy. It's the freakiest thing because that's all we do in practice. That's all. It doesn't matter if it doesn't carry over till Sunday. Short yardage is another topic we got to get better at offensively. Especially we got to find a way to get 1 yard. We got to understand what we're doing to get 1 yard. Then it becomes a toughness thing down there to get the yard. Defensively, third and longs have got to stop because we know where the ball's going. We understand what's coming, and we did not make a play to get off the field to get the offense a chance to get the ball back to win the ball game. So these are things we practice every day. We'll continue to practice. We harp on them. We stress them. We actually did well during the week. We did not do well during the game. It's got to transfer over. Things we need to change as coaches, we have to change and not be big-headed enough to change defensively, offensively, or special teams. And player-wise, they have to understand that, and they have to get better at executing.
Todd, you're the defensive play caller, the head coach of this team. Are you spending more time with the offense, or is that something that you're looking to do to maybe correct some of those things, such as short yardage in the red zone, offering up your opinions, sitting in on meetings? Has that happened, or is that something that you're contemplating doing going forward to ensure that this gets fixed?
Well, I always offer my opinion from a defensive standpoint, but I'm not an offensive coordinator to sit in there. We understand who needs to play better and what we need to coach better from that standpoint. So we talk about that stuff all the time. That's my job, to make sure they know that. But I'm a defensive guy. I'll be in the defensive side of the ball.
Are guys just not keying in enough on the details in meetings, during walkthroughs?
They're keyed in. Like I said, we have great practices. We have great execution. It's got to carry over to the game.
Coach, a lot of people will look at that game and say you predominantly use 2 receivers, right? You get a lot of reps for your third guys, whether it was Scotty or Perriman. Having said that, Mike Evans gets 1 target in the second half. He gets 4 altogether. I'm assuming you probably want to try to find a way to get him more involved in the game and never let him come out of the game with just 4 targets, right?
We definitely talked about that. We got to find a way to get our stars the ball, move them around, get them off picks, double. We have to find ways to get them the ball more. Obviously, teams are going to double him and try to take him away more. We have to do a better job of getting him involved.
Are you satisfied with your advanced scouting, with how that's coming along?
Scouting does a great job. They keep us up to date on injuries, what's coming, what to look for during the games. We're very happy with that.
Do you think there's a predictability to the offensive play calls on this team, whether it's first down runs, or certain personnel groupings? Are there some tells, personnel-wise or down and distance-wise, that you think defenses are keying in on?
Overall, I don't think so. But being a defensive coach, there's always 1 or 2 things you find that you can hang your hat on. Then offensively or defensively, you try to change up and show a look, but show something else each week or as you go on forward. And self-scouting, you can see that more. But when you're good at certain things, you try to find a way to run it and different ways of how to run it. But we can expand on play calling on both sides of the ball and get better from there.
Todd, Tom stands up here every week and we ask him about his health, his shoulder or his finger, and he says it's fine, it's football, but is he totally healthy in your mind?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's totally healthy. He's completely healthy.
So there's nothing health-wise that's affecting maybe the accuracy of his throwing?
No.
This is social media, right? We're all on it. We all
Mhm.
read. People look at Tom going to a wedding, missing what he missed, Saturday walkthrough meeting. They see the 11 days, and when you're losing, it becomes, that this guy's not as invested. He's treated differently. Is that fair to the rest of the team? Are guys in the locker room talking about it? What's your take on just from your perspective about him sort of perceptively getting special treatment?
He works as hard as anybody, special treatment. There's been a few guys that's missed some meetings and some practices for some special thing that just doesn't get publicized because they're not him. So it kind of comes with the territory. You don't worry about it too much.
Is he as locked in as he's been in the past with you?
Yes.
And also with Cam Brate, you mentioned sprained neck. What is the prognosis for him? Any idea when he could be back? Is that still something he can do this season, return?
I don't have an idea right now.
Does that happen more than we realize? Guys just missing for a wedding or a funeral or something. Does that happen more than?
A lot more than you realize.
Todd, you got two guys that are eligible to come off IR, and Josh Wells and Gio Bernard. Could either of them start practicing a week this week?
Hopefully Josh can start practicing. I don't think Gio's at that point.
Where is Akeem Hicks at progress-wise? I mean, you guys didn't put him on IR, so.
He's getting better. We just got to see where he is. Until I see him run on the field, I don't have that answer for you.
Todd, after the game, you said that the time for talking is over. It's time to go to work. Do you feel like this team talks too much, whether it's
No, I don't. I don't. Just talking around, just talking to each other about how we can get better. There's a time, from what I see, that you can just talk about getting better, and there's a time we just have to get better.
How much is peer-to-peer accountability going to play a role in this team climbing out of a 3-3 hole, which isn't something they're typically in?
Accountability is what we go by regardless, whether we were 3-3, 0-6, or 6-0. So to a man, to a coach, to a player, we hold each other accountable, and that's the only way we're going to get out of this thing.
We've gone through play calling and offensive line and receivers. How would you assess how Brady has played the past 6 weeks?
I think we can all get better as a team, as players, and as coaches. I think everybody's been equally the same, which is not good enough.
Special teams wise, I know we talked about offense, defense, but special teams, to give up a big kickoff return to open up the second half, can you pinpoint what went wrong there and how you guys can fix that?
Yeah, a few guys went underneath all at the same time when they weren't supposed to. I think it's important for those guys to learn who they're playing next to, whether it's a speed guy, a power guy, a finesse guy, and understand what they can and can't do and play off each other more.
Todd, yesterday you volunteered something that was interesting about guys living off the Super Bowl in fantasy land. And that just kind of came out of nowhere. What prompted that for you to kind of say that?
It's just more of a comment. When you win the last 2 years, you get nothing but compliments, and compliments to young guys are pretty telling. So my thing was that you got to work for everything you want to get in this league, and sometimes even that's not good enough on certain days. But if you put in the work daily and keep your head down, you'll have more pluses than minuses, and that's all I was trying to refer to.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. Yeah.